that's kind of pretty shabby introduction there. I'll show you how to play this tune. Man, it's so hot in here, I'm just melting. It's been in the triple digits here in Southern California, and the humidity is really high today. Has been on and off, and especially over the last couple days, a few days actually. And anyhow, so if I like just melt in the chair, you understand why. I had to turn my fan off in order to do this video. So little prop here, little props for me, man, for sacrificing myself and sweating like a sweaty thing in order to do this video. So Marvin Gaye's Mercy, Mercy Me. My interpretation of this particular tune is what I'd like to present to you, so let's just kind of break it down for what I just did here in the beginning. Now, I approach this from a vocal perspective rather than an instrumental perspective, and I try to play the melody there in the beginning, kind of choked on it. But to give you an idea that, you know, for those that wish to be able to play this instrumentally, you know, it's available. I can break that down for you, but for right now I'm just going to show you the chord sequence for it and the overall arrangement for how I approach this particular tune. Now, about a couple months ago I had revised the lyric, and I posted a revision of that here in this group. Since then I revised the lyric one more time. And the reason why I had rewritten the lyric, not completely, the first two sentences, you know, the first part of it, which is mercy, mercy me. Now that stays the same. You know, the first section of the verse will always stay the same in what I've done. I just changed the last part of it, the closing part of the verse, for the last two chords within the sequence of the progression. And the reason why I did that is because, mainly because it was just so inconsistent from verse to verse. It made it very difficult to be able to sing, because, you know, one particular verse had really just a lot of words jumbled together, and then the other verse didn't have so many. It was very inconsistent from verse to verse in that respect, rhythmically to be able to reproduce it. It made it very difficult to be able to play and sing. All right, just singing it you could get away with it, but also at the same time I wanted to contemporize the lyric. Okay, so I finished that, and for those that wish to use it, it's available. I'll post it in the comment section. All right. So anyhow, moving on. The introduction. This song. Just look at the tempo. The tempo is pretty slow, and it's syncopated, so it appears to be a lot faster than what it is because of the syncopation, right? So let's look at it statically. All right, the left hand we have a B flat 2 chord. That's an octave, and I pivot between the 5th interval of that chord in order to create the syncopation for it. So in the right hand I'm playing an F minor chord, and obviously it just modulates 1/2 step. Okay? When it moves into the verse section, which repeats 4 times, a sequence of 4 times. The left hand I'm playing an E major triad. Okay? In the right hand I'm playing a B major triad. Okay, so let's look at it from the polychord perspective. That's the easiest way to learn stuff, I think. In this case we have a major 7 tonality. There's other intervals involved here, but mainly what we have is a 7th tonality occurring through the whole sequence of the chords. So again, E major and B major, right? And then I move to a G sharp minor. So this particular key that we're in right now for the verse section, for the vocal, is 4 sharps. Okay, so we are in the key of E major. Alright, it's not modal. And then, okay, so it still maintains that 7 tonality. Again, B major, E major, okay, and then G sharp minor, still holding to that 7 tonality, like I said. And then in the left hand, for the second chord sequence, part of the sequence, is that we have the root 5 and minor 7. So we have a C sharp minor 7 being played in the left hand, and then I have B and D sharp and G sharp in the right hand. Okay. What we have here in the right hand is a B, D D sharp, G, which is basically 11 add 6. It's a B11 add 6 or B4 add 6, whatever, how you want to look at it. But in combination it becomes a completely different chord by using the two hands. And then the third chord we have F sharp minor in the left hand and a C sharp minor in the right hand. Okay, and then the last chord in the left hand we have a B major triad, and it still holds that C sharp minor here in the right hand. And then it moves for the turnaround going back to the top of the head. I'll go to a G sharp minor here in the right hand, an octave above. So I'm going to go ahead and play that a little bit. Repeats itself 4 times, and then it modulates 1/2 step. It goes to F, so we're in F major now, and it just repeats the same sequence. Modulates again. This is my arrangement of it. Okay, this is going to be a little bit different from what the original is, so just take it for what it's worth and what I'm showing you here. And then it modulates one more time, but this time it doesn't go through the complete sequence. So be it that I just came out of F major and I moved up one more 1/2 step, I'm not thinking sharp. I'm not thinking in a sharp key. In other words, I'm not thinking F sharp. I'm actually, in my mind, I'm thinking still flat keys. I'm thinking of G flat. I just, it's the keyboard thing, okay? So I'm thinking of G flat. So I'm playing G flat here, and then I'm playing D flat here, all right? And then I move to B flat minor. So again. I repeat that twice like that. Then it moves into what I consider to be the solo section, or what I would use for a solo section if a soloist was to come into this, or if I was to record it, I would solo over this particular section. And that is, in the left hand now I move to B flat minor, and then I go to A flat in the right hand and B flat in the left hand. So it's something like this. Okay. So we're thinking B flat minor, you know. Soloing over that. So what I'm playing in the right hand is, like I said, A flat, and then I go to an E flat, and then I go back to D flat, and back to E flat. Now, for this particular tuning, as I mentioned before, it's classic stick tuning. Standard inversion for the chord is the initial chord form, this particular chord form, which is the root, it's 3rd and 5. Okay. Now if I was to play the 3rd, it's 5 and it's 1, like that. That would be considered the first inversion. The second inversion would be the 5, the root, and the 3rd. And that's the one I'm playing here. That's the voicing that I'm using for this particular sequence. So again, okay, with that E flat. So when it comes out of this, hopefully I'm not leaving anything in the wake here as I'm going through this, but as it resolves, what I do is I just reinstate what has occurred with the modulation. So I'm going to go ahead and play one more time the sequence for this. Holds, then it'll move to G flat and then D flat. Okay, and then it'll move to E major and back to the same chord sequence as we were using before. All right, and then it moves up 1/2 step, and that's how it will resolve itself. That's how I plan on ending the tune. Now, what I will be doing there is that I'll be scatting, as an example. That's what I would end up doing there. But with the chords that I played there, which are the major 7 tonalities, is what I would be using as the harmony for that. Probably in most cases I would be doing this completely solo and without a drummer, because I don't have anybody to play with here in Rialto. Can't get nobody on board to do anything. So if I would have anybody play with me, it probably would be a percussionist or a drummer to come in and play, So outside of that, harmonically, I'm just kind of like an open palette to do whatever. But if I had a keyboard player come in, I would want them to play those chords. And probably later on, I would work out the idea of playing those notes specifically within a written form rather than an improvised scatting type of thing. And so that the keyboard player, or hopefully the idea of a band, for me would be actually a keyboard player. If I can't have a flautist, if I can't have a violinist, I would want a keyboard player, because they could, if they're playing a synth, they can, get similar sounds, which would be good enough for me. And a percussionist, or perhaps maybe even 2 percussionists. 2 percussionists sounds better. But in that type of situation, it would open up a lot of opportunity harmonically and doing dual harmonies and stuff like that. And I really love that stuff. But at any rate, there it is, folks. Hopefully I didn't leave very much out. If I did, and you kind of got the gist of how to play this particular tune. If you have any questions concerning, maybe perhaps playing. There it is, folks. If you have any, like I said, if you want to know more about that, I can, actually, look how I'm just like sweating like a pig. Pigs don't sweat, do they? No, that's why they roll in the mud. Man, I don't know where that expression came from. Maybe it had something to do with the sweating and the smell combination. I don't know. If you have any questions, let me know. Sorry.